So you've got some trim already, you've got your neck and you've got the elastic. So this is where you're going. Inside this, there are two bones. This is the arm bone, or the front leg bone. And then this is the blade. So we've got to get to them, we've got to expose them. So we want to open it like a book until we come to them too. So if you look at it, the skin side should always be down. You want to see where your arm bone is, and you want to put the shoulder blade on your cutting side. There is a shoulder blade, you can feel it, it's bone. So skin side down, shoulder blade on your cutting side. Now you want to cut on top of the shoulder blade. So you're going to take your knife, I'm just tipping it up a bit. I'm cutting tight to the shoulder blade until I have some release. And my knife can go back in there. Now what I want to do is to stand that up. So I'm going to take my knife into where I had made the release. I want to stand that up and cut straight down. That's going to start my separation for me of opening my book. Okay? So if I go back to my shoulder blade and just cut a little further, that will go a little further for me. On the other side, there's a seam. That's where you're going to come into. But you're going to join that seam up with a cut through muscle. So now you need to take your knife and rest it on the bone. Look, there's the bone right there. If you rest your knife on that bone, cut through the muscle into that seam. And that's going to be the opening of my book. So rest your knife on a bone, cut into the muscle through the seam, and start peeling it open. And you want to get just past the bone. This arm bone is a little smaller than this one. Well, this is what you're looking at, this piece right here. So don't want to go too far, but it's just going to come off. Once you've got the arm bone exposed, you want to just run your knife around each side of it, just to free it up a bit. And if you move it, you can see the joint. It's right in there. There's the joint. That's what we're moving, and it's right in here. So I have come around one side of the arm bone, come around the other side, accessing the joint. Just get your knife through the joint. Now I had left a little bit too much meat on top of my blade, so I just want to press down on the blade and cut up. Now be careful, you're cutting towards your hand, you need to be careful. You can leave that meat there if you want to, or if it comes off, just put it with your trim. Once you have done that, you're going to expose the bone. It is a curved bone. Once you've exposed it, you can feel where it is. You want to run your knife down the side of it. And do the same thing on both sides. Feel where the bone is, run your knife on both sides. So you're starting to free it up. Now what needs to happen is you've freed it up on both sides. Now you need to turn your knife and cut underneath. But you're going to be cutting up against the bone. And you see that blade is not absolutely flat. There's a piece coming down like a rudder. So we need to get to that from this side and get to that from the other side. So I have disconnected it. Now I want to turn my knife and go underneath. I'm going underneath until I hit the rudder, and then I'm going to scrape that meat off the bone, making sure I've got disconnect from the joint going down. Once I've done it from one side, I'm going to come in at the other side, and I want to go underneath, cut up against the blade until I hit the rudder. Now what you can do if you're not sure where you're going, and you're not, is tip it up, cut it, but then scrape it back from the blade. So it's freed up here. Check the other side, make sure it's freed up over there. Don't worry if you leave a little meat on a bone. Remember, you are lamb cutting virgins. So this is your first time. Shit's going to happen sometimes. So once you've got it freed up here, and you have it freed up here, if you hold that, take your knife down through the joint, and just get your knife around the joint, making sure you've got separation. Once you have separation there, you would have noticed we left the arm bone behind. We have done that for a purpose. I'm going to use that as a handle. I have it released. I have it released. I have it released. I can just pull that out of there now. It's a little slippery, but you see that will come out of there with some energy and some muscle. Don't show that, okay?
No, no.
If I see that, I'll tell you. So that came out of there. Obviously, you've got to be careful. If you've left some meat on there, you can go back and scrape it off and put it with your trim, and then just keep a clean bone on your tray. So let me just go back to this. So we have removed the blade. Now we need to remove the arm bone. So that's one here. This one is longer than this one, you can see that. So I want to pick it up, and I want to just run my knife against the bone, pushing the meat or cutting the meat away from the bone. As I am doing that, there is a piece of shank here, and attached to that shank is a great big piece of elastin. It's a different colour from this one, it's white. What you want to do is you want that meat to stay behind, but you want that elastin gone. So if you can get your knife underneath it and cut away so you have separation. So now if you wiggle that bone, you can see commonly where the separation should take place. So you want to be careful. Don't cut into the bone, just keep wiggling it till it gets all the way around it and it comes out of the joint. If you've left too much meat on it, you can go back and scrape it off. So there you are, there's your book open, okay? Don't go away. And once you've got it open like that, don't worry if it's not neat and tidy, we'll fix that when we roll it up in a second. In the center, there's a great big clump of fat. Inside that clump of fat there is a gland. So you expose the fat, you want to go underneath and lift up that fat, and sometimes you will see a shadow. Not all the time, sometimes you will see a shadow. So with that fat raised, go to where the shadow is, or go to that thick area, and inside there you will find a gland. See the gland? It's a different color, different texture. It needs to come out of there. And then that gland, all of the gland, has to come out of that area. There should be no glandular material left behind. And take a little fat with it. Don't take all the fat, just a little fat. And then that gland has to go next to your elastin. You need to isolate the two, because that should not get mixed in with any meat anywhere. Gland will not kill you, but it can upset your stomach, and if it gets left in the meat, it makes it go sour faster, so we don't want to eat that, okay? So at all times, must be removed. So then once you've got it to that point, you can close it up, or if you think you're in good shape, you can roll it up so it's neat and tidy, and then later on we will tie that up. And then you can go back to your bone scraping, okay? Go ahead.